So by now you've heard about the auctions that ended this week for Logan Paul's first edition booster boxes, selling for at around $36,000 to $44,000 per pack.
Last October, I sat down for what I expected to be a mildly popular stream of a Pokemon nerd breaking open a $200,000 box of first edition cards. I have to do that again.
I'm gonna buy every single first edition box on the planet.
Now that is insane. For the price of a single pack, you could probably buy a really nice luxury car. A booster pack isn't going to help you drive around anywhere, is it? Or if you're like me and you have a 2013 Honda Pilot sitting in the driveway, you could probably buy about 5 of those with that booster pack price and still have enough money left over to pay for rent in San Francisco for probably 3 months. Hey there, I'm Steve, and you're on the PokePointers channel. We break down Pokemon TCG purchases and product using hard facts, evidence, and analysis to figure out, is it worth it?
There's 36 packs inside, and if you pull a Charizard like we did on my stream, it's worth $350,000.
So what's going on here? Who in their right mind is willing to shell out this kind of money for what is essentially a shout out on YouTube and for 11 pieces of 25-year-old cardboard? It's all about the exposure and the advertising spend that makes this a really good opportunity for advertisers and brands. And it's actually a really good deal. Here's why. Now, stopping for a moment, I'm also holding a giveaway for my Road to 1,000 Instagram followers. I'm going to be giving 2 lucky subscribers a Unified Minds hanger pack, which includes 3 Unified Minds boosters. So follow the directions below and remember to answer the question, what is my favorite Pokemon? DM me on my Instagram account at PokePointers. So a little bit of a refresher on the whole Logan Paul situation. We flash back to September of last year. Logan Paul ignites the Pokemon world by opening up a first edition Pokemon base set booster box that he bought for a cool $200,000. He sold 35 of those packs for around $11,000 each, netting $390,000 for the entire booster box and around $180,000 in profit. In that live stream, he pulled the holographic Charizard. The Pokemon world went crazy.
2 cards left. Oh! We got a Charizard! We got our first Charizard of the day! Oh!
And this mega event, combined with COVID, pushed the hype and prices up for Pokemon cards. At that time, Champion's Path had just come out. It was near impossible to find those ETBs. And what I personally think is that XY Evolutions, kind of a subset or really a pseudo reprint of the base set, is just going to go up like crazy. If you really tracked it from that time last year, it went up from $200 a box to $400 overnight. And even today, that's considered pretty cheap, right? With prices over $1,000 today. Now cut to February 3rd, about 2 weeks ago. Logan Paul drops another teaser video, an extremely well-made video. Before that, he was saying how he would get out of Pokemon completely, he would never do it again. Drops this video, and he reveals that he spent over $2 million on 6 first edition base set booster boxes, the same one that he had opened up back in September.
Mini Bradley Martin, on behalf of the Pokepets.
That is an average price spent of about $333,000 a box, well over the $200,000 that he spent initially. Prices have gone up through the roof, with most people blaming Paul for the rise in these packs and boxes. Now fast forward a week later, on February 11th, the first set of the auctions closed, and final prices ended at around $36,000 to around $44,000, which was 3 to 4 times the original starting bid. With the average selling price of $38,000, that meant he got $1.4 million for this whole booster box.
$1.4 million.
Now, a lot of YouTubers are talking about how this extra money paid on top of the original $10,000 is for exposure and for advertising. But really, how much exactly did they pay for that? We have to go back to expected value. I know I talk about this in all my previous videos, but it's a great way to gauge what cards, packs, and sets are worth at that moment. It lets me see quickly what's worth it, what isn't, and potentially a good indicator for the future just to see how things are trending. So now for this base set analysis, I really went to Troll and Toad to get the first edition high-level prices. TCG Player doesn't have updated first edition prices for them, so I used listed prices from Troll and Toad. And I also was aware of the old school Pokemon set statistics for opening up a booster box. That is about 1 in every 3 packs is going to have a holographic. I took that probability and then I applied that expected value formula. What resulted from this analysis was that I valued a first edition base set booster pack to be around $1,600. That's ungraded. That's what you expect to get from the 10 or 11 cards that come into the set. You would expect that every single pack that you open, with everything together, you're probably getting around $1,600. What's more interesting is when I get to potentially grading each of these cards, right? You're spending $30,000, $40,000 on a pack. You're probably going to be grading every single one of those cards. On the lower end of the scale, you know, if you open these pack fresh, submitted for grading, and you get a PSA 7 on all of them. What's super interesting is that the expected value of that pack goes down to about $1,400. That's even lower than if you just had sold those cards ungraded on the open market. It sort of tells me that the market doesn't really value PSA 7 cards for even the first edition base set cards. You're just better off selling them ungraded. Now, these booster pack prices rise as you go from a PSA 7 to an 8 to a 9 and ultimately to a 10, with an 8 being at around $1,900, a PSA 9 on all the cards being worth $3,700, and then the huge kicker, if you were to theoretically get a PSA 10 on every single card that you open, your expected value on that pack is going to jump up to $16,000. The primary reason of this jump is because a PSA 10 Charizard, Blastoise, and Chansey actually are worth a crap load of money. So if I just took the graded cards, I averaged them together, you expect to get around $5,900 on average. Expected value for a pack if you grade them. This means that if you went on the auction and bought the pack for that average $38,000, you're paying about $33,000 more than the average pack is worth. You're really paying for the advertising and that exposure to be working or be associated with Logan Paul. So what are you getting with this $33,000? You're getting a shout out on the video while he's opening your pack. You're getting social media increase, the influence from Instagram, Facebook, possibly some name and brand recognition, just for being associated with the Logan Paul, potentially the Maverick brand. You also get brand recognition, right? It's harder to quantify, but it's possible to do some type of brand product placement during that booster box rip that's really going to help certain companies. And you're also going to get a chance at a PSA 10 Logan Paul edition graded type of card. So this is where any card that was opened in the Logan Paul booster box break, if it gets a 10 submitted to PSA, they will actually label that card Logan Paul. And that's going to be a real big kicker in the increased value for some of these cards, because yes, you can have PSA 10 first edition base set. You're only going to have several, if not only one of these Logan Paul edition ones. Why do I think this is a deal? So Logan Paul has 22 million followers on Facebook, over 5 billion views. I think it's almost 6 billion at this point. His September booster box opening had 11 million views. And if you kind of look into the back end, that meant about a 3 CPM video at $33,000. His September video had around 11 million views, and if you were today to spend $33,000 on advertising and you were on that video, you would have a $3 CPM. CPM is just a tracker for how we think about spending on advertising. The average YouTube CPM, I mean, this is super high level, there's a lot of assumptions involved, is about $2. This seems expensive at first, But keep in mind, this was only the September video when Pokemon wasn't even nearly as big. I fully expect that his next booster box opening is going to get a ton more views than that 11 million, possibly 15 million, possibly 20 million, and that'll bring us closer to that average $2 CPM. This makes it a lot more of a fair value in terms of where, if you were to spend advertising dollars, where would you put it? If you put it in Logan Paul's video, it's pretty standard. Additionally, Logan Paul charges anywhere from $80,000 to $150,000 per social media post, Instagram, shout out, whatever, for doing that kind of sponsor content as well. If you're only paying $33,000 to be associated with his brand and kind of work with him, you're getting more than a 50% discount for doing so. Keep in mind, this is on Pokemon's biggest stage. It's going to be live streamed on Pokemon. It's with Logan Paul. You're going to have Post Malone, Katy Perry there. So many eyeballs are going to be watching this. This could potentially be a great and cheap way to advertise your company. If you can afford it, it's probably worth it for one of these larger brands or these upcoming hyper growth brands to get more exposure. Plus, you're getting some really dope cards out of this, right? I mean, you're still opening up a first edition booster pack. Who wouldn't want that in the holy grail of Pokemon? So what have I been doing in anticipation for February of 27th, when Pokemon Day hits, when Logan Paul hits, when the prices are probably gonna rise on a bunch of things? What type of ultra modern product is still feasible to buy? Still, even though everything is hard to find in stores, what you can potentially find if you're smart enough and know where to look. On February 3rd, when he made that announcement, I actually went and looked for more products with XY evolution. I fully anticipate that it's still going to go up. It has gone up a ton, but I think there is still some more upside over the next month or two. I know XY evolution is pretty expensive right now, but there are cheap ways of getting it. And I'm going to be going through that on how to get XY evolutions cheap in my next video. Look out for that. I'm also looking for a 2 to 3 year old product that might be near the end of its reprint cycle, like Sun and Moon, potentially some of the newer XY. They're still pretty cheap, right? Sets like Burning Shadows, Sun and Moon Base, Lost Thunder, Forbidden Light. You can still find those packs for, maybe they're not quite MSRP, but they haven't really hit the overall public eye just yet. Like, people are starting to buy it slowly and surely, but you can still get in on it. Today, Pokemon has said they're going to be reprinting a bunch of things. They're going to have the new print factory, but I think that the priority is going to be those Sword and Shield sets. Sun and Moon, they might get reprinted, they might not, but I think it's a good risk to take. And then finally, I think Japanese booster packs and boxes, Japanese sets are going to be really great. I've seen a ton of growth in the price, even directly from Japan on some of these sets where they've historically been sitting at, say, around $50, $45 for a booster box, has been jumping up crazily. It's starting to get harder to get, but I think there's still some opportunity to do so. Get it now while you can. Some of these sets where we see either some trending or it's already hit some type of peak include Tag Team GX, Double Blaze, which is the Unbroken Bonds Japanese version, Miracle Twins, which is Unified Minds, as well as Dream League, which is Cosmic Eclipse. You can see a lot of those are associated with the Sun and Moon type of sets in English. Well, there you have it. I hope the information that I'm giving you is really helpful. If you could like and subscribe to the channel, I truly appreciate it. I really enjoy it when you guys watch my videos, you watch it through, you provide feedback and comments to me. Follow me at my Instagram account at PokePointers. I'm going to be having a giveaway, so make sure to get in on that. And then also check out my online shop at www.pokepointers.com. Thanks a lot for joining, and I'll see you next time.